What if you could hike to the edge of an active volcano and then wander through green coffee plantations all in just one day? In Tanzania, this is not just possible, it's everyday life. Whether you're dreaming of your next adventure or just curious about Tanzania, stay with me. We'll explore fun facts about Tanzania and then dive into its mirror-like lakes, historic cities, and endless horizons. Fun facts about Tanzania. Tanzania, the largest country in East Africa, spans an impressive 945,000 square kilometers. It's home to Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's tallest mountain at 5,895 meters. Known as the cradle of humankind, Tanzania's Olduvai Gorge has yielded fossils over 2 million years old, offering invaluable insights into early human history. The country boasts a rich cultural mosaic with over 120 ethnic groups unified by Swahili, the national language. Among its iconic communities are the Maasai people, celebrated for their vibrant traditions and cattle herding culture. Tanzania's commitment to conservation is remarkable, with nearly 40% of its land protected as national parks, reserves, and conservation areas. This dedication helps preserve unique wildlife, including the red colobus monkey and the Pemba flying fox, both of which are found only in this region. Its agricultural heritage is equally significant, as Tanzania ranks among Africa's largest producers of coffee and tea. Tanzania gained independence from British colonial rule in 1961, marking the start of a new era in its history. The best places in Tanzania. Lake Natron. A crimson jewel in Tanzania's northern frontier, Lake Natron stretches across an ancient volcanic landscape. The lake's striking blood-red color comes from microscopic algae that thrive in its extremely alkaline waters, where pH levels can reach 10.5. Temperatures in the lake can soar to 60 degrees Celsius, making it one of the most hostile environments on Earth. The water's unique chemistry comes from volcanic ash, rich in sodium carbonate and other minerals. This creates a natural factory of natron, a compound the ancient Egyptians used for mummification. Despite these extreme conditions, the lake is a crucial breeding site for lesser flamingos, with up to 2.5 million birds gathering here. They feed on the spirulina algae that gives the lake its color, and their numbers create one of Africa's most spectacular wildlife displays. The lake is surrounded by the active volcano Oldoinho Lengai, whose ash continues to influence the water's chemistry. Stone Town. A living museum of cultural fusion on Zanzibar's western shore. For centuries, this UNESCO World Heritage Site has been the meeting point of African, Arab, Persian, Indian, and European influences. Its labyrinthine alleyways showcase massive wooden doors, each carved with intricate patterns that once signified the owner's wealth and status. The architecture tells stories from the past. Coral stone buildings with their distinctive carved balconies, former sultans' palaces, and old merchant houses. The House of Wonders, or Beit al-Ajaib, stands as the tallest building, distinguished by its multiple levels of pillared balconies. It was the first building in Zanzibar to have electricity and an elevator. The old fort, built by Omani Arabs in the 17th century, reveals layers of history as both a defense against the Portuguese invasion and later as a prison. Serengeti National Park. An endless sea of golden grasslands stretching across northern Tanzania, covering nearly 15,000 kilometers. The name Serengeti comes from the Maasai word Serengeti, meaning endless plains. This ecosystem hosts the Great Migration, where over 2 million wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles move in a circular pattern following the rains. During migration, the herds merge into massive columns that can stretch for 40 kilometers. The park features distinct regions: the Seronera Valley with its acacia-dotted savanna, the Western Corridor where the Grumeti River hosts massive crocodiles, and the Northern Plains that merge with Kenya's Masai Mara. Lions are found in unusually large prides here, some with over 30 members, drawn by the abundance of prey. Unique geological features called kopjes, ancient granite outcrops, dot the landscape, providing surveillance posts for predators and shelter for smaller creatures. The Serengeti's ecosystem is so significant that it's protected by multiple national parks and reserves across Tanzania and Kenya. Mnemba Island. A tiny teardrop of pristine coral sanctuary off Zanzibar's northeastern coast. This private island measures just 1.5 kilometers in circumference, but is surrounded by an oval reef system stretching 4 kilometers. The Coral Atoll creates one of Africa's most spectacular diving sites, where over 600 species of fish dance through crystal clear waters. Green sea turtles nest on its powder white beaches between February and September, laying their eggs in the soft sand. The island's waters are also a breeding ground for bottlenose dolphins, which can often be spotted in ponds near the shore. The surrounding reef is known as Mnemba Atoll, forming a protected marine conservation area. Local fishermen still practice traditional fishing methods here, using wooden dhows and hand lines. The island itself is fringed by a pristine beach that shifts with the tides, while its interior hosts an ancient coral rag forest. This rare ecosystem features trees adapted to growing on fossilized coral. Madaruni Waterfall. Tucked away in the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, this hidden cascade plunges 80 meters into an emerald pool. The waterfall lies within the territory of the Chaga people, who have cultivated these fertile volcanic slopes for centuries. The journey to Madaruni passes through coffee plantations, where bright red coffee cherries grow under the shade of banana trees. Local farmers still use traditional methods to process their coffee, a practice that dates back generations. The waterfall's flow varies dramatically with the seasons. During rainy periods, it thunders down with impressive force, while in dry seasons, it becomes a delicate silver ribbon. The pool at the base is deep enough for swimming, its waters consistently cool from their journey down Kilimanjaro's slopes. The surrounding forest hosts a variety of birds and small primates, particularly the black and white colobus monkey. The mist created by the falling water nurtures a microclimate where ferns and orchids thrive. Ngorongoro Crater. The world's largest intact volcanic caldera formed when a massive volcano exploded and collapsed on itself 3 million years ago. This natural amphitheater spans 20 kilometers across and plunges 600 meters deep, creating a unique ecosystem that's often called Africa's Garden of Eden. The crater floor contains distinct habitats: grasslands, swamps, forests, and Lake Magadi, a shallow soda lake that turns pink with thousands of flamingos. This diversity supports around 25,000 large animals, creating one of the highest wildlife densities in Africa. Unlike the Serengeti, most animals here are permanent residents, including one of Tanzania's last populations of black rhinos. The crater walls create a natural barrier that protects the wildlife, though some species like elephants and giraffes navigate the steep slopes seasonally. The Maasai people still graze their cattle alongside wild animals, maintaining traditions that predate the crater's protection status. What makes Ngorongoro truly unique is its collection of predators: lions, leopards, and hyenas, living in close proximity due to the crater's confined space. Tanga City. An ancient port city where history flows through centuries-old streets along Tanzania's northern coast. The name Tanga comes from the word sail in many Bantu languages, reflecting its maritime heritage as a vital trading hub. The city's architecture tells stories of different colonial periods. German-built structures stand alongside British administrative buildings, while traditional Swahili homes line the older neighborhoods. The Tanga Harbor, naturally protected by the Tanga Bay, made this city crucial during the spice trade era. The Amboni Caves, just outside the city, form East Africa's largest limestone cave complex, carved by ancient ocean waters. These caves hold archaeological evidence of human habitation dating back thousands of years and remain significant in local spiritual practices. The city is surrounded by sisal plantations, a legacy of German colonial times when Tanga became the world's largest sisal exporter. Along the coastline, ancient fish markets still operate as they have for centuries, where traditional dhows bring their daily catch. Serengeti National Park. A wilderness dominated by ancient baobab trees, some over 1,000 years old, their massive trunks standing like giant sentinels across the landscape. The park's lifeblood is the Tarangire River, which flows northward through the park, providing water when surrounding areas have dried up. During the dry season between June and October, this permanent water source attracts one of Africa's largest concentrations of wildlife. The park hosts Tanzania's largest elephant population, with herds of up to 300 individuals gathering near the river. Unique to Tarangire are the tree-climbing pythons, which drape themselves over branches of sausage trees and acacias. The landscape is dotted with termite mounds, some reaching heights of 4 meters, creating natural viewing platforms for small predators like mongoose. The park's swamps, tinged green year-round, support over 550 bird species, including the largest flying bird in Africa, the Kori bustard. The grasslands between the ancient baobabs transform dramatically with seasons, lush and green during rains, golden and parched during dry months. Kendwa Beach. A pristine stretch of white coral sand along Zanzibar's northern coast, untouched by the dramatic tidal variations that affect other island beaches. The water here maintains a constant depth throughout the day, creating ideal swimming conditions in the turquoise Indian Ocean waters. Unlike the East Coast beaches, Kendwa faces west, treating visitors to spectacular sunsets where dhows sail across the horizon's golden light. The beach's unique orientation also protects it from the strong winds that affect Zanzibar's eastern shores during the Kusi monsoon season. Beneath the surface, coral gardens start just a few meters from the shore, hosting colorful parrotfish and starfish. Local fishermen still practice traditional methods, setting out at dawn in wooden dhows that have barely changed in design for centuries. The beach's soft sand is actually composed of tiny fragments of coral, ground down over millennia by ocean waves. At night, the water often sparkles with bioluminescent plankton, creating natural light shows in the gentle waves. Moshi and Kilimanjaro. A vibrant gateway town nestled at the foot of Africa's highest peak, where Mount Kilimanjaro's snow-capped summit looms 5,895 meters above sea level. Moshi streets bustle with mountain guides, coffee traders and farmers, making it Tanzania's coffee capital. The mountain itself is actually 3 extinct volcanoes: Kibu, Mawenzi, and Shira. Kibu hosts the famous ice-capped peak, though its glaciers have shrunk by over 80% in the last century. The mountain creates its own weather system, trapping moisture that feeds the surrounding rainforest. This results in 5 distinct ecological zones, from tropical rainforest at the base through heath and moorland to an alpine desert, and finally the Arctic summit. Coffee plantations carpet the fertile volcanic soils around Moshi, where beans grow in the mountain's shadow at perfect altitudes. The local Chaga people have lived on these slopes for centuries, developing an intricate network of irrigation furrows. During clear dawns, Kilimanjaro's peak reflects the rising sun, creating the phenomenon known as the Crown of Africa. Despite being near the equator, the summit remains snow-covered year-round, though climate change threatens this eternal ice cap. Dar es Salaam. Tanzania's largest city stretches along the calm waters of the Indian Ocean, a metropolis where skyscrapers rise above historic German colonial buildings. The name means Haven of Peace in Arabic, reflecting its origins as a quiet fishing village before becoming East Africa's most important port. The city center features the iconic Askari Monument, a bronze statue commemorating African troops who fought in World War I, while nearby, the Gothic-style St. Joseph's Cathedral towers over bustling streets. The Kariakou Market, housed in a German-built structure, forms the city's commercial heart, where traders deal in everything from spices to textiles. Along the waterfront, the Kivukoni Fish Market comes alive at dawn as wooden dhows arrive with their fresh catch. The city's architecture tells its history: Swahili-style houses in Kivukoni, Indian temples in Upanga, and modern glass towers in Oyster Bay. The Tingatanga art movement originated here, characterized by vibrant paintings that now symbolize Tanzanian art worldwide. Manyara. An ecological jewel where groundwater forests meet alkaline lake shores. Lake Manyara stretches along the base of the Great Rift Valley's western escarpment, creating a unique ecosystem where land and water meet. The park is famous for its tree-climbing lions, who have developed this unusual behavior, perhaps to escape the heat or survey their territory from above. The groundwater forest supports one of Africa's highest densities of elephants per square kilometer, while troops of olive baboons, sometimes hundreds strong, forage along the forest edges. The lake itself can cover up to 200 square kilometers during wet seasons, but shrinks dramatically in dry periods, turning into a mirror-like salt flat. Vast flocks of flamingos gather here, creating pink ribbons along the shoreline as they filter tiny algae from the alkaline waters. The forest canopy hosts Africa's highest density of hornbills, their distinctive calls echoing through the trees. Hot springs bubble up near the lake's southern end, evidence of the area's volcanic history. Ngui Beach. A vibrant fishing village turned beach paradise at Zanzibar's northernmost tip, where two oceans merge to create constantly calm, turquoise waters. The beach's unique location at the island's tip means it's barely affected by Zanzibar's dramatic tides, keeping the ocean accessible for swimming throughout the day. Traditional dhow building still takes place here, with skilled craftsmen using age-old techniques to construct wooden vessels without blueprints or power tools. The Manarani Marine Turtle Conservation Pond sits just behind the beach, where injured sea turtles are rehabilitated before being released back into the ocean. At sunset, The horizon fills with white sails as fishing dhows return home. The beach's coral reefs lie close to the shore, creating natural aquariums where parrotfish and angelfish dart through crystal waters. Local women still practice seaweed farming in the shallows during low tide, maintaining a tradition that's centuries old. Arusha City. A bustling gateway city resting in the shadow of Mount Meru, Africa's fifth highest peak. Known as Tanzania's safari capital, Arusha sits exactly halfway between Cairo and Cape Town on the old Cape to Cairo road. The city's position near major national parks has made it the headquarters of the East African community and once hosted the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. The Maasai Market showcases Tanzania's cultural diversity, where bright fabrics and intricate beadwork tell stories of different tribes. The city's clock tower marks what's claimed to be the midpoint between the Cape of Good Hope and Cairo, though modern measurements dispute this. The Tanzania Natural History Museum houses preserved specimens that document the discovery of early human ancestors at Olduvai Gorge. The surrounding area hosts numerous coffee plantations, their Arabica beans thriving in the rich volcanic soils at the base of Mount Meru. Zanzibar. A tropical archipelago steeped in history off Tanzania's coast, where African, Arab, Indian, and European influences have mingled for over a millennium. The main island, Unguja, was once the world's largest producer of cloves, earning it the name Spice Island. Ancient mariners used its distinctive aroma to navigate from miles away. The island's heart lies in its spice plantations, where cinnamon, nutmeg, and cardamom grow in the same soil that made sultans wealthy centuries ago. The water surrounding Zanzibar hosts vibrant coral gardens, particularly off Mnemba Island, supporting over 500 marine species. The island's architecture reveals its past. Persian bathhouses stand next to Indian traders' mansions, while carved Zanzibari doors blend African, Arab, and Indian designs. The Jozani forest in the island's center protects the rare red colobus monkey found nowhere else on Earth. Offshore, traditional dhows still ply ancient trading routes, their triangular sails a testament to maritime traditions that predate European exploration. Morogoro. A tranquil city nestled at the foot of the Uluguru Mountains, whose peaks rise dramatically to create one of Tanzania's most striking natural backdrops. The mountain's name comes from the Luguru people, who have cultivated these slopes for generations using sophisticated terracing techniques. The city serves as Tanzania's agricultural heartland, where vast sisal plantations stretch across the surrounding plains. Morogoro's agricultural research centers have made it a hub for studying drought-resistant crops. The Uluguru Nature Reserve protects rare species like the Uluguru bush shrike, found nowhere else in the world. Though the city runs the old Central Line Railway, built during German colonial times, its station's still standing as a reminder of the region's trading history. The local markets overflow with produce from the mountain farms, where traditional irrigation systems dating back centuries still function. Sokoine University of Agriculture, one of East Africa's premier agricultural institutions, drives innovation in farming practices. Now that we've explored Tanzania's incredible treasures, from the towering heights of Mount Kilimanjaro to the cultural richness of the Maasai people, it's your turn to decide. Which of these amazing experiences would you dive into first? If Tanzania's wonders have inspired you, don't forget to subscribe for more adventures from around the globe. Until next time, asante sana, thank you in Swahili, and I'll see you in the next video.